Hello and welcome to Teleislas News, the most important news of the day.
The departmental authorities are investigating an act of vandalism recorded last night at the Departmental Assembly.
The facilities of the Departmental Assembly were vandalized by an unknown person last Thursday, 24th of June. The fact generated the breaking of some windows of the building. The President of the Assembly, Escorso Christopher, rejected the attack against the building, where they are currently developing plenary sessions of political control.
When we arrived this morning, we found that the company reported that at about 7 o'clock at night, at shift change, someone broke the window with a stone. It seems that the person who did it ran away because he was not identified. In the course of the day, we will be making the complaint to see if through the cameras this person can be located or have some certainty of how it happened. We do not accept that they use it as vandalism to intimidate the corporation.
The authorities are inspecting the security cameras of the building near the Duma to find the people involved in the attack against the entity facilities.
As of March 13, registrations were open for the community and promoters can register for the 2022 elections. For individual voters, it will be in person, and for promoters, it will be at the city clerk's webpage.
This news agency has learned from reliable sources that only 22 people from the island have registered to vote for the congressional and House elections to be held in 2022. It is important to emphasize that these registrations allow the transfer of voting places, or those who in the past elections voted in the island of Fort Providence can transfer their vote to San Andres. Teleislas News is reminding the community of instructions and dates to keep in mind regarding next year's elections, where the General Registry of Civil Status sent a statement indicating that as of March 13, these registrations for the Presidency and Congress 2022 will be open. Such registrations will be available to citizens in person until 2 months prior to the elections to be held in March of next year. However, the subscribing committee of significant groups will have registered through the page that the registry has enabled for them, and they will have the opportunity to do so until November of the current year. In this line, the days to be taken into account are from last May 29 until March 29, 2022, when the registration for ID cards will be open. Likewise, those who promote the blind vote may register until January 19, 2022. In addition, the popular consultations, both internal and inter-party, will be held on November 7, 2021. If so, they will have until June 30 to submit the grading report to the National Electoral Council. Finally, the municipal and youth councils will be held on November 28, 2021, for which registrations will be open to young people between 14 and 28 years old who wish to vote in such elections, which began last June 1st to August 30th of this year.
IDEAM updates the climatological status for the regions in the country. In the Caribbean region, precipitation will continue according to the time of the year.
According to the National Climatology, the second dry season or less rainy season in the middle of the year will last until the end of September of this year. In recent days, it has been observed that in several sectors of the Department of La Guajira, Cesar, Magdalena, Córdoba, Boyacá, Cundinamarca, Tolima, and Huila, this trend has been accentuated. The IDEAM recommends being attentive to the evolution of atmospheric conditions and taking the necessary preventive measures. In the rest of the national territory, particularly in the Caribbean, Orinoco, Pacific, and Amazon regions, rainfall of varying intensity will continue, accompanied in some cases by thunderstorms and locally intense winds, a normal condition for this time of the year. The increase of rainfall will favor an increase in the threat of flash floods and landslides in areas of steep slopes and hillsides. In the department, so far, marine activities are maintained. The entrance of Hines Key and Johnny Key, diving activities, kite surfing, and parasailing. Tourist activities are not allowed in the South-Southwest and East-Southeast Key and Stingray stores. In addition, it is forbidden to embark and transport to the Keys adult over 65 years of age, pregnant women, people with disabilities, in wheelchairs, or who require special assistance to get on or off the boat.
And the Departmental administration continues with its vaccination campaigns. For this weekend, they will carry out several immunization days.
The Secretariat of Health is conducting a follow-up vaccination campaign against measles and rubella for all children from 1 to 10 years old, in compliance with the Measles and Rubella Elimination Sustainability Plan in the department. The departmental hospital is designated point for parents to take their children to be immunized against this disease. The campaign is held from Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on Saturdays until 12 noon. Similarly, the health department continues its immunization process against COVID-19 to the inhabitants of the department. This Saturday 26 and Sunday June 27 will be applying first doses of AstraZeneca and second doses of Sinovac from 7 a.m. until 1 p.m. at vaccination points such as the hospital auditorium, the departmental social state enterprise tents, and the Manawar Park.
Now we make an assessment of the COVID-19 situation in our department to date.
According to the latest report issued by the Ministry of Health at the national level, which reports daily COVID cases in the department of the country, the department added 26 new cases of coronavirus in the last hours. This brings the total number of cases to 6,241 since the beginning of the pandemic last year. Similarly, we analyzed the latest report issued by the Secretariat of Health at the departmental level, which is dated June 24 of 2021. In this report, it is announced that currently in San Andres there are 85 active cases, while in Providence there are 3 active cases, reaching a total of 88 active cases of COVID-19 in the department. Likewise, there are 5,995 people recovered and a total of 123 people have died from the coronavirus in the island. It is also worth noting that the occupancy of the intensive care unit is currently at 62%. This news agency will be attentive of the development of the situation of COVID-19 in the islands, as well as decision taken to eradicate the pandemic in the department.
Now we continue with all the information from our sister islands of Old Providence and Catalina. The municipal court admitted a constitutional action against the mayor of Old Providence and Santa Catalina for violating the constitutional right to petition.
The Vandalism civilian oversight group constituted to watch over the different aspects of the reconstruction, among other issues, filed a legal action against the mayor for violating the constitutional right to petition. According to the petitioner, he had no other option since several requests have been made, but there has been no response.
Es muy grave que los funcionarios.
It is a very serious situation that officials ignore the request made to them, and for us, there was no other way but to file a constitutional action, because we made a letter of insistence where we asked him to please answer Mr. Mayor, because we have already made 2 rights of petition and he does not want to answer.
According to Archibald, the petitions were concerning the population carrying capacity study of Old Providence Island and whether a tourism capacity study had been carried out. The second was focused on the reconstruction.
Solicitamos una información sobre.
We requested information on the subject of housing, what type of housing they had chosen, the number of beneficiaries, everything related to the reconstruction of housing on the islands of Old Providence and Santa Catalina, and they have not given us an answer either.
That was the reason for the action. The former governor clarifies that access to public information is of vital importance for the proper follow-up of public and administrative activity.
In other news, some inhabitants of Old Providence shared their opinions after the agreements reached at the working table yesterday with the Comptroller General of the nation.
The visit of the Comptroller General ended yesterday with the commitment to deliver 14 new houses next week and an average of 50 each month. In addition, a subsidy will be given so that the people who continue to get wet can rent a place where to shelter themselves. Several members of the community spoke about these agreements.
Maybe they're willing to help. I know that, but they're trying to make a promise they cannot comply. And this is not We have to take material from Bogota, go to Cartagena, or from Cartagena go to Medellin, or from Medellin go to Bogota. This is an island that surrounds the water. And you need special procedure to get the material here.
Where then go and rent and from who? And the house them that they're working on, them that they finish is like family house. Them have the family, then go and rent their house because they don't have nowhere to go. And the rest of them, then just start them and half done them because, as a matter of fact, then do finish mines.
Others say that the rent subsidy will help, but the quickest solution was to build some shelters.
The way first thing what people need to do, build like an albergue somewhere and put up the people who will not nothing standing to make them stay in. You understand? So that will be the easiest way for them.
For her part, journalist Amparo Ponton made the following analysis.
Este número ya es muy bueno, 14,000 y se compromete.
This number is more real, 14 new homes, and they're committed to deliver 50 more each month. That means 18.2 months ahead. So we're not talking about March of 2022 anymore, but almost of 2023. But it is better to know these things. It is better to be told once and for all what we should expect than to be given unreachable figures.
It should be noted that the delivery of the rental subsidy depends on the census of the affected people living in tents, which will be delivered on the 30th of this month.
This weekend, Teleislas will broadcast the special Clip Fest finalists. Here is the note.
In its two categories of documentary and musical with the modalities of amateur and professional, the hard-fought competition of Clip Fest will be broadcasting the finalists in a special that will show the products of these participants. The presenter of the contest extended the invitation to the community.
My people, I want to invite all of you. Can't miss this Saturday and Sunday, 6 o'clock in the evening. Clip Fest in a historic version. We're coming with a special with the video them that went straight to the final. You can't miss it. The competence really good. We got all kind of good talent. We got quality, so you can't miss it.
And continuing with the transmission of the stimulus program of the Ministry of Culture, the director of DAGMI extended the invitation to a new call estimated for this July 1st.
During the afternoon, islanders were able to connect to Day of Information of Stimulus Calls, where those interested learn about what the Audiovisual, Film and Interactive Media Directorate of the Ministry of Culture offers in the stimulus program of the 2021 portfolio, which this year will deliver 118 stimuli. The director of the entity invited them to participate in a new activity schedule for July 1st.
We will have a component of personalized counseling for producers who have projects or products in process of nationalization, which will take place on July 1st with 2 sessions, one in the morning from 10 to 12 and the other from 2 to 4 p.m., where they will receive direct support for their project.
On June 22nd, the conference focused on producers where they talk about the film project process. The second session was held yesterday and focused on the process of recognition of finished short and feature films as cinematographic works. And finally, today, the doubts of potential investors to that DAGMI program were clear. To enter to the sessions, they will only have to register through the entry form or go to the DAGMI page on the web or Facebook, where they can be found as Min Cultura Audiovisuales.